This is the sadhana, waning moon energy. And along with the Om Namo, the Adi mantra that reminds us that, and I just read this and I want to share this with you. Yogi Bhajan said that in the age of Aquarius, which we're in right now, there's going to be so many teachers and gurus and people speaking of this message, and and in that age, what we can do to rely on what truth is to check into our own energy, check into the guru within us. And so what we're sharing is the ability to know your energy, because you can only trust it if you know it. And if you're not familiar with it, inherently your system is not going to trust it. So to be able to be conscious and aware of how your energy works within you is the practice, so that you always know where your true north is, where your soul wants you to be. And so that's the practice that we're sharing with you, is get to know your energy. And so I'm just going to set this up. And there we go. And prepare my space for the practice and allow some time for you to come and join. Okay, and I will have this mantra playing. And it's 5:55. find a good version of, not good version, but a version that I like of Om Namo. Ooh, Ekhangar is good too, but I'm gonna say Om Namo because I feel inspired to chant this for myself this morning. The work that I have to do today to be conscious is big. So I gotta get ready. And the way that I get ready is by creating space the way that I do. And I get into my soul energy so that I can be in my soul energy creating and emanating that energy today. There are days when it's effortless, and there are days when it has to be super conscious. And today is a day I need to be super, super conscious and stay out of my loop. It's testing day, so to speak. So and I've been studying and meditating on what to share with you this morning before I live streamed. And for me, it's what came to me is to share about the rest of the first chakra. It's really deep and imbalanced first chakra influence in our lives. So having more consciousness around that feels really beneficial for us. So with this, and I'm gonna pause it because I want to share the meaning with you guys so that when you're chanting it, you're conscious of the vibrations and the frequencies that you're tapping into and tuning into. And so before I begin my 10-minute Om Namo chant, I'm going to share with you what it means. And this is from spiritvoyage.com. And it's the mantra is Om Namo, and the name of it, or what it's referred to, is, well, you can call it Om Namo mantra, but it's the Adi mantra, and it's the mantra that both protects us and connects us to the highest source of wisdom. I bow to the all that is. I bow to the divine wisdom within myself. Yogi Bhajan, who brought Kundalini Yoga to the West, born out of the Sikh tradition, which Miko and I have gone down the rabbit hole of that story, and basically Sikh is not Kundalini, and Kundalini is not a religion, and but the influence of both created this opportunity for Yogi Bhajan to bring Kundalini Yoga to the West, and he has said in the age of Aquarius there would be so many spiritual seekers that there would be not enough gurus to instruct them in paths to enlightenment. We must hone our ability to hear the Guru Dev, the Guru within our hearts. Our Guru Dev, or higher self, can be the source of all instruction and inspiration. And a guru is simply an energy that brings you out of darkness. Gu means unconscious, and light means Ru, consciousness. So a guru is simply an energy that brings us out of our density. It's that which makes your light sparkle brighter. It is a divine and cosmic teacher which may act through a person or through you and always uplifts and enhances your own divinity. One of the translations of Dev is angelic, and we have a part of ourselves that is more angelic than human, which we must learn to hear. And of course, for us, we feel that that's Avala, and that's our heart center energy, and that is our soul energy, our heart center located within our soul, as the information came through in the book that Nico is studying, which is called Kundalini Exposed. So I'm gonna just do this mantra so I can get in deeper and share that energy with you guys. Of course, you're joining me in my personal practice every day, and as I share my personal practice with you every day, you could see the work that it takes to be consciously creating our day, especially during the energy of the Creator's Hours, which I'm sharing with you. So regardless of what time you're tuning into this live stream, if you get yourself into a place where you're energetically receiving, you are able to tap into this sadhana hours, these creators hours that is so vibrationally aligned and physically aligned, depending on the because it's dependent on the angle of the earth. And so that's the energy that I'm sharing with you, because I'm sharing this energy with you at this time. You don't necessarily have to be the one to physically get up at 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning to do this practice. You can do this practice with me anytime. And just being in the energy of me doing this practice is helpful. Just like all the yogis and monks and all the other creators who are up at this hour creating with their energy. It's what they're doing is infinitely helpful to the planet. So every single person who is doing this practice is infinitely helping themselves and the planet. So I'm going to do this with you guys, or with you here. And I'm going to be really, really aware of my energy bodies and my subtle energy bodies as I do this practice. I'm going to be doing a breath log. If I feel inspired, I will talk and narrate and let you know what I'm doing. But I'm really going to focus on feeling the energy of this mantra and vibrationally aligning to it. My left hand is at the back of on the base of my spine, pointing downwards and activating my awareness for my Kundalini energy. I'm getting ready to unravel the cord and plug into where's my hand? Plug into the grid. This is something that Dr. Linda has shown me that I love, because it's a visual representation of what my energy is doing and what our energies are doing and how we're guiding that energy. So that's something that I've incorporated into my own practice, because it just really, really helps me. It gets my body straight, my shoulders are back, my spine, of course my chin is tucked in, so my spine is nice and straight. I've opened up my perineum. So now my base is at the ground, which is receiving energy from Mother Gaia. Clearing my throat. still adjusting my energy bodies. Namo. This is all part of the chanting, the preparing. This is getting rid of the physical noise so that I can really focus on Gurudev, Gurudev, Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev, Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev, Namo. Activating my throat chakra. Namo. Gurudev, Namo. Namo. Gurudev, Namo. Just bringing awareness to my shortness of breath and my my system kind of struggling to get my breath and rhythm to the mantra, and then my mind energy saying maybe perhaps I should have started with a easier mantra to get myself into the flow and then do a harder mantra. But this is the tuning in, so I'm gonna stick with it. Breathe and sit in it. Sit through the noise that's within me right now. And start feeling the energy. Put an easy smile on my face to balance out the duality and harmonize it. This is my favorite part. Beloved friend. I'll make it louder so you can hear. I bow to you. Again and again. Golden city on the water. Neon time and space. This is the way. This is your breath. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. that was not easy to find and activate my plug and plug it in. Um, so I struggled with it for a little while, and then and I stayed with it. I struggled through the mantras and struggled through the rhythmic uh, effortlessness of dropping into the mantra, and but I kept going until I got myself to the Avala breath lock. The Avala breath lock is that is the part that I inhaled, and then as my system was telling me that I didn't have enough air and it was time to release, I would take in another sip. And that got me so deep that I was able to then take my energy through my whole system, from the source of Mother Gaia's energy to the source of the masculine energy, the divine masculine energy of, so we refer to him as Father Universe and Mother Gaia. It's a balance of the masculine and feminine energies. It's just an energy. It's not there's no human up there, although that spirit can embody the human, which is what we are doing. So, so I was able to connect through the Avala breath lock, and every single time I wanted to release that breath, I relaxed more and I sipped in more, and then by the end I was dancing in that energy. And so there was no panic, and the panic came in at the beginning, so you could see how far my capacity is from where my mind tells me where the capacity is at. So that kind of energetic embodiment of our soul energy is how powerful we can feel after the Avala breath lock and grounded and centered. And so with that, I'm in. It was not easy to get into my soul energy this morning because I've been asked to hold space as Miko is hitting the halfway point of his 40-day sadhana, and it's pretty much the toughest part. It's the dark, it's the densest before the light, and so he's right in the thick of it, and I've made a commitment to stay completely conscious in being able to hold space and do everything I can to make this practice about my own process, so that I can show up and hold space for his process, for where he's at now, and he's consciously asked me to do that. And though he did not feel that I did that this morning, and that made it really hard for me to get in this morning. But it's beautiful because normally I would have engaged, and I'm consciously not engaging because he asked me not to engage consciously. So now I'm consciously responding to not engaging because right now this is the work that he has to do alone. So we were going to shoot this morning, and that's what I was checking in with him about. But it's more important that his process is where the focus is at, and perhaps it will be more in the flow for him to share about it, his process with you, after he goes through this density and transmutes this density. So, in complete transparency, that's part of the reason why I had a hard time getting in, because there was a part of my energy being pulled to engage, and part of my energy that wants to hold space by physically holding space, as opposed to holding space from energetically holding space from a distance and energetically supporting Miko's process and trusting in his mastery and trusting in his ability to be able to go into the depths of his density and in essence the density of all the energies that he has to hold in his expansiveness as he embodies this new upgrade of lightness, and that's manifested through Miko because of his earth element, through his relationship with food. So 15 days in, or 16 days in, that detachment is at a place where it has to be, complete, and it's not easy. I can't fully understand, because my body works differently than his, and with his body and the way that he moves energy and the way that he manifests and his relationship with food, what he's going through is really, really tremendous and big for him. It's his final detachment, and so it's really big. And so this is part of me, this is part of the work that I would do if I wasn't doing it on live stream. I would work through this energy, see what it's bringing up for me, see how more conscious I can be in being able to hold space, lovingly hold space as a container, and not necessarily feel like I have to be in the journey with him in order to hold space, which is really an expression of my soul energy. My human energy would want to, get in there. My soul energy is stepping back, allowing, letting go, surrendering, trusting, and appreciating and grateful that he's finally at this place where he is really ready to break through. He's been preparing all his life to be able to break through at this level, on this part of the journey. So just appreciating that and grateful for that, and the amount of strength and courage and bravery and commitment and discipline and self-mastery that it takes to make such a commitment and follow through and have spiritual integrity around and forgiveness and non-judgment around the process, and what trusting that process really looks like. Doesn't mean that the whole time you're in your process it's going to look exactly the way you want it to look. What it means is that allowing and trusting the process is allowing and trusting the process on a micro level, on a minutia level, and then also on the greater picture, that ultimately we'll all get there. Whether we get there with consciousness and whether we get there in joy and in celebration, that's what makes the difference. Are we going to get there in aliveness, or are we going to fight the whole way through? And when we're doing this conscious work, we remind ourselves why we're doing this. It's to feel good. So me sitting here, being able to share my practice with you and do exactly what I would normally do if the camera wasn't here, and crazy that it took 10 years for me to get to this time and space to meet you here in this time and space, because this is where you've been waiting for me. It's an interesting perspective to see it that way, because when we're manifesting, we always see with our mind where the manifestation is going to look, where it's going to be and what it's going to look like, and we feel like we have this idea, and if you filter it through your heart energy, we're just going to trust the process. It may not look like that, but we're going to trust that we're going to end up exactly where we're supposed to be in the moment that we recognize this is exactly where we're supposed to be. So in the moment that I bring it into my awareness and consciousness, this moment and our meeting of energies is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Is the moment that I realized the journey that it took here was exactly the way it had to be in order for me to end up sitting in this spot to meet you. And had I seen this moment, this exact moment, and said, okay, destination marks the spot, the X, I would understand, that is why, and which I do, that's what I'm sharing, that is why we had to go through everything that we had to go through. That is why everything had to happen exactly the way it had to happen. For me to show up here with no story, just sharing my practice, just feeling inspired to do this is exactly where I need to be. And this moment and this destination is exactly where my soul was guiding me. And I'm so grateful that I trusted. I trusted to get here, to be here, to say hi to you, because this is exactly where I need to be. So in yesterday's satsang, I was sharing about how I wanted to read you about this amazing thing that I read from Guru Ratana about, I'm going to say about 10 more times. Shh. I'm going to be quiet while I look for it, because this is good. And you're going to love this. Because it's going to make so much sense to your human mind that your consciousness is going to be able to come in with the relaxation of the human mind energy. Your consciousness energy is going to be able to come in. So, I found it. Before I start reading, I'm going to just check in with you guys and see where we at with live stream. Okay, still just me. Okay. The birth of a soul in a human body. Without a body, our soul hovers around the earth, deciding at which moment and under which circumstances we would like to be born to learn our next set of lessons. I did not see it when this was downloaded to me. I did not see it this way. But I love the way that she's seeing it, and she's written it and downloaded it this way because it's a new way for me to see it. I will share another time the way I saw it, working, meaning it works the same way. It was just a different way to share the story. There was just a different story around it based on the fact that my background is film production. And so, of course, my analogy and the way that I saw it was visual, and I received this truth through the analogy of what happens to our energy visually. And what I mean by that, I'm just clarifying, is I saw it like mine was more in production analogy. That's a good way for me to explain that. And so, without a body, our soul hovers around the earth, deciding at which moment and under which circumstances we would like to be born to learn our next set of lessons. In that pre-incarnation state, we each pick a set of cards or issues or situations, including family, parents, children, relationships, health, work, and etc. Who do we pick these set of cards with? It's our soul tribe. We pick the set of cards with our tribe. And there are many tribes, and you can be part of many, many tribes. But the tribe that holds space using technology and media is the Avala tribe. So this is the tribe that holds space for all the tribes, in a real digital space kind of way. All tribes are invited to feel the resonance of the Avala soul energy, because when we all come together as soul beings, there is only one tribe, there is only all tribes, right? So not making that separation from that tribe to that tribe, that sounds like, that's what happens with tribal warfare. It's each tribe feeling and filtering through that separation energy and that division energy, and of course infinite source love tribe embodies and encompasses and holds space for all tribes and sees the beauty in it, because why? We're looking at it through this type of perspective. So in that pre-carnation state, we each pick a set of cards, and all this is in divine synchronicity and flow. Everybody in our lives is coming together to co-create this story with us. And so we're grateful. And that gives us our personal formula. It's our personal algorithm for working through life's challenges and moving closer to our soul essence. The name of our soul essence, if she were to have that downloaded information, she'd just say moving closer to Avala, which is our soul essence. As enthusiastic souls, we pick as many cards as we feel we can handle. It's funny that she says enthusiastic. I could just see my energy there going, oh, just picking can I just pick off of another deck in addition to my deck? That's kind of how I move through university, is taking maximum credits and then getting permission to take more credits, and then taking the maximum credits. Yeah, it was definitely. Okay, so I don't know how long that's been paused for, and I don't know what you've missed out on, so I just have to read this again. Now, this information was downloaded for me as well, and I was saying that for me, I got it through a production analogy, because that's where I'm at with it. The birth of a soul in the human body. Okay, so without a body, our soul hovers around the earth and deciding at which moment and under which circumstances we would like to be born to learn our next set of lessons. In that pre-incarnation state, we each pick a set of cards or issues or situations, including family, parents, children, relationships, health, work, etc., that gives us our personal formula for working through our life challenges and moving closer to our soul essence. As enthusiastic souls, we pick as many cards as we feel we can handle, and we want to take maximum advantage of our short, precious journey to a planet Earth. At the same time, we know how great the promise and privilege of human life truly is, giving us an opportunity to feel love in the physical body, to experience joy and freedom, to grow and expand, to be self-empowered, to tap and ignite more of our soul's potential, to experience firsthand the beauty of Mother Earth, and to serve planetary evolution. Thus, upon looking closely at the life cards we select from, we find that the front of the cards displays the benefits we will receive: love, joy, peace, power, freedom, and more. The back of the cards lists the tests that we must go through to earn these gifts. the parents who will be in charge of our programming, the relationships we will encounter and learn from, the situations that we will have to deal with, and the arenas in which we will play out and meet our challenges. It all looks like a fun game from the perspective of our yet to be embodied soul. Soul, human, spirit consciousness, spirit energy, human energy equals the soul consciousness and soul energy. And then our Akashic records start to get recorded because now you're awakened and operating from your soul energy. So in very small print at the bottom of the last cards are written the words, "You will go in blindfolded. You will not know that you are a soul. You will have to figure that out for yourself." And what that really means is that we will suffer from soul amnesia. We will forget that we are a soul in human body and be unaware of our oneness with the divine, our allness with the divine. Over time, the pain from the tests and circumstances that our soul creates to get our attention, as listed on the back of the cards we drew, becomes sufficient to coax us to search for alternative ways to approach life. This is the awakening of the soul consciousness. We are led to explore a spiritual path which awakens new experiences within. So for much of planet's history, with humanity and through humanity, this desire to awaken to a soul path has been limited to just a few souls who drew those cards. What's happening right now with Avala and what's happening now with the golden age of Aquarius, which is how I like to refer to the age of Aquarius, as the golden age of Aquarius, is with our Vala energy, is that everybody is having the opportunity to awaken because this type of consciousness is now more available to everybody than ever before, and the energy, because it's so intense, we're feeling the density much deeper and much more quicker. More quicker is not really the right. More quick, much more quicker. And that density, feeling that density is enough for us to do whatever it takes to want to feel better. So that's really what's happening here. And that spiritual path is not a religious path. Now they can coincide and they can work parallel together, and you can use religion as a tool to get there, which is exactly what a religion was created to provide support for the spirit journey. What it's turned into through human density is not always serving that purpose. But for me, I have beautiful experiences with various religions, and grateful for everything that I have felt supported and guided in the religions that I have been drawn to experience. And so just putting some context around that, because a spiritual path is your soul path. It may or may not include religion, and that's okay. Either way, stay true to not the religion, but to your soul path is the guidance that I would provide with consciousness. Because religion, as it's channeled and pure and true, is infinitely helpful, but based on its interpretation and dogma and precepts, etc., there's just a lot of human density that's also put into the mix. And so receiving from your clear soul energy is the purest, energetically speaking, it's the purest form. So over time, the pain from the tests and circumstances that our soul creates to get our attention as listed on the back sides of the cards we drew, becomes sufficient to coax us to search for alternative ways to approach life. And we are led to explore a spiritual path which awakens new experiences within. And we have a sense that there is something that keeps us going, and begin to realize that we are more than a personality. That's the human story. And a physical body. That's the human story. So personality plus the physical body is our human story. That's not consciousness. We notice light where we once saw darkness. We feel hope where once we feel despair. We experience pleasure where once we experience pain. This is life in Avala. It's life in the flow of our soul energy and our divine soul energy, and this energy is pure flow of infinite source love, and that's what makes up our soul. So from this perspective, we're able to look out to our environment within our bodies and interact in all the relationships that we can consciously create from this point forward. Wherever you're at, from this point forward, make choices and decisions and experiences and feelings that are soul driven and not personality and just physical body driven. And that type of integrated living, conscious living, is what allows us to create with our soul tribe. It's what allows us to create from our heart center. And when I say create, and I've said this before, I don't mean just artistic. I mean the way that we create our life, the way that we create all our relationships, whether it be with money or time or lack or limitations or contracts. I mean, there's so many ways that our third dimensional reality has been designed to provide limitations. And those limitations and the density of feeling those limitations is what drives us to seek for soul freedom. And so with that sharing, I would just like